If you're looking to have a career of impact, especially in the world of like public policy, government, things like that, but really any field, don't move to a new city without a job, right? Hear me out. I can't tell you how many hundreds and hundreds of people I have talked to through the Free DC Hopefuls Facebook group who have told me, I moved to Washington, DC. I'm like, amazing. Like, did you got a job here? And that's what moved you here? Like, nope, hoping for the best. They move up here and they get a job at Starbucks. They may live on their friend's couch and they're going to make it happen. And I know you're thinking, but Tommy, that is so brave. That's awesome. That's like the American dream. I get you. But being brave is not always being smart, right? Like, I'd rather you be very smart and save the bravery for the right spot. Here's why that doesn't work. The underlying assumption, of course, is that you want to be in the city you want to work. In my world, it's DC, but it could be anywhere. If you want to be an actor, you'd like move to LA. But for the folks I'm helping, you want to be in, so many of you want to be in DC. I know some of you don't. Most of you want to be here. You think if I'm here, that's where I can like meet people. And I'm like, right, how? Cool, you're what? Oh, I'll go to networking events. Well, networking events don't work. You're going to go meet a bunch of total strangers and say what, right? Anyone who goes to a networking event is going to be looking for a job themselves. And like, but you're going to give them your elevator pitch. Like, it's not going to work. The idea that you're going to like wow some total stranger at a bar, it is so unlikely that they're going to walk back to their office and think, oh my God, I found the perfect person. I'm not hating on you. I couldn't go to a networking event and make that happen. It's just so hard to do. So they're like, well, I know a few people and we can have these face-to-face. And I love the spirit behind it because it shows that the person understands the value of networking. And that's what I'm obsessed with. So I like that they've understood that. But I'm sitting here thinking to myself, you can go and have coffee with me. And of course, we're going to bond in a completely different way. I'm going to see your face. You're going to see mine. I'll remember, there'll be that shared experience of like ordering the coffee and getting a stack and talking and like what the weather's like. It is the best way to do it. Absolutely. But phone calls are pretty nice too. I can still hear your voice. I still feel like I'm getting to know you pretty well. If a face-to-face is 100 out of 100, a phone call's like 80, 85. And here's the thing. When you're trying to network, even with people in this town specifically, they're busy. They're overwhelmed. And it can be really hard to take that 45 minutes it would take to leave office, go from your house and go meet you at that coffee shop, go grab that drink. That's a pretty big commitment and people will make it for you. There are great people. It's almost easier though to do the phone call. I can talk to you on my commute home. I can talk to you while I take a 30-minute walk around my office just to clear my head. There's a lot more. I'm more likely to be able to connect with you if I'm offered a phone call versus I got to go meet you somewhere in person. So you're actually more likely to have the conversation in the first place. Now, obviously, if I'm talking to someone on the phone, my goal is to hopefully build up and meet them in person. But most of the most amazing professional relationships I've ever had, it's 5-to-1. It's 5 phone calls, and then hey, let me buy you a tea, let me buy you a coffee, let me buy you a beer after work. But there's a lot of phone calls in between. So I say all that to say is, when you move here and you're desperate because you moved here, you're working some service industry type job, like that's not sustainable. So not only have you really only given yourself a small advantage by being here, you can do that face to face, which is nice if the person's even willing to make that time. But now you're desperate. You got to land something. You may have some savings, but everyone I talk to is like, I got 60 days. I got 90 days. I'm like, that's not enough time. And when you're networking with people, they're going to feel it. They're going to be like, oh my God, you're here. That's brave. Oh, you desperately need something. I don't have anything for you. And like, now I feel weird. Like I can't help because you need something right now. And it will subconsciously would make me not want to like talk to you because I know I can't help because you need something quick. You're going to have such better results in your networking when you know you want something right away. You want your job tomorrow. But your network doesn't necessarily feel that pressure. So suddenly I'm talking to you and you're in the middle of the country and you're like, yeah, I'm okay. I don't love this job, but I'm good at it. I've been here for years. I like my apartment. I want to move to DC. God, I'd love to be there 6 months from now, but I understand these things take time. Suddenly on the other end, that doesn't make me not want to help you. It makes me feel more comfortable and knowing like, okay, now that I know that, maybe I'll introduce you to my friend. Because I don't know if my friend's going to be in a position to hire you, but he's a great guy to know he's in your field. But now that I know you're not super desperate and I'll freak him out, I'll make that introduction. Now that I feel that space, that lack of insistency, like maybe I'm more likely to get creative and think of things for you. Or 2 months from now, think of you when I hear of an opportunity. But if I knew you were desperate, 2 months later, I'll think it's too late. Right? Like, oh, he needed something so long ago. Or I hear of an opportunity, but it might be months before that becomes a real job opening. I have a friend who I know is looking. So when he leaves, there'll be an opening where he works. Well, like, I don't even want to bring that to you if I think you're desperate, but I will bring that to you if I think you've bought yourself some time and it doesn't have to happen right away. So you try not to put yourself in any situation where you're desperate, where you need things to happen quickly if you can help it, because this town is slow. If you want to work for the government, so slow. Even the private sector, they got to get, it's slow. Government contracting is slow. The Hill can take time. A lot of times, it all can take time to build these relationships that get people to a point where they want to help you or to the point where they even have an opportunity for you. Obviously, for some folks, it happens. We've had people in our Career Investors group, it happens really quick. Others, it takes a long time. And when I got to know both and helped them both, like neither one was doing a better job than the other. Some people, you will get luckier breaks at certain points in your career than others. But still, by not putting yourself in that point of desperation, you're getting yourself a much better chance. So I get that it feels really brave to want to pack everything up here and move here with just a hope and some eagerness, but it's not the best route. Be stable, have steady income coming, and you could talk on the phone. And if you're mad at me for this and you don't like it, here's what I've coached a couple people in my group to do. They hate that advice. They want to be here. They think brave. The universe will reward them for brave. I say, okay, build your network as best you can from your town in Texas, from your town in California. Build as best you can. Talk to the people you know. Have your local conversations face to face, because that's where going to be a lot of the people you know well enough to even talk to you, are probably where you live now, not here, right? That's another point I forgot. Have those conversations, build it up. And when you think you've built some relationships in DC, maybe you've had phone calls with 4 people and 2 of them you've had multiple calls with, and they've kind of suggested they might introduce you to some people or whatever, plan a trip. It's a lot cheaper than moving. And you come up here for 8 days and you tell your whole network, hey, I think I'm thinking about coming up there and doing some in-person networking. Obviously, I want to start with you. Would you be available if I came this week? Can I buy you lunch on Monday? Oh, yeah. And you think that might be the time you could introduce me to that old coworker you had mentioned? Maybe like I can reach out to them now and get them booked for like Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I've had people do that and they plan it out and they almost base what week they're going to come on based on who in their network said they'll be available. And they come up here and they have 2 to 3 conversations planned every day. And those conversations are so powerful because the person's like, wow, you're here. I can't believe you came up here just to have in-person conversations. God, you really want this. That's awesome. But again, they don't feel that crazy pressure because they know that person has a return flight back to the town they live in, where they have some stability. They may be not unhappy and unfulfilled, but they're fed, they're clothed, and they're housed. And they know they can have some time. That can be a really powerful workaround if that's what you really want. And I know others of you out there are screaming, but Tommy, when I apply online, my resume says Illinois and no one's going to hire me. It's got to say Washington, D.C. Well, guess what? Applying online doesn't work anyway. It just doesn't. I mean, you can move here to put D.C. on your resume, and I promise you're not going to get better results. Now, I agree. If somehow I was in love with 2 applications and one was in the middle of the country and one was here, I would be drawn to the one that's here. You are right. Because that person's more likely to start if I give them an offer. I'm always going to secretly doubt, is this person really going to pack up and move here? And if I think it's like an entry level or not the greatest job, I could almost feel guilty. I've been in that situation where I'm like, this person's going to move here for this job. oh, they're going to be so disappointed. So I hear you on that. But again, applications are so brutal. I mean, for me, I'm batting less than 1% throughout my career on applying online, leading to an offer. So, like, it is brutal. It's such a hard game for so many reasons. I have so many videos on this. Um, so I would not move somewhere just to put a city on the top of your resume. I mean, absolute worst case, if you have a friend, if you have a relationship here, maybe you figure out, hey, I'm gonna have this. If I were to ever move here, this person has a spare bedroom, and they said I could like rent their spare bedroom for 3 months until I find an apartment. You find something like that, then you put their address down. Is it the most honest thing in the world? No, but you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you will move here for the right job, and you know that's where you're gonna live. So like maybe in the interview you just tell them you've already moved, right? Yep, I moved in with my new roommate. I don't have a job. It's crazy. Or they'll say like, I don't understand. It says here you're still employed there. You might say like, yeah, I've already started to pay rent at this new place. I am like ready to move in. Like I'm good. Yes, I don't live in DC yet, but I have a room in this building, this number. You can call this person. I've already paid them the first month's rent. There are ways to show you're serious because at the end of the day, if you join in Career Investors Below, what I'm going to teach you is like, we're going to network in such a way that like anyone who hires you knows a little bit about you. Someone you both know is advocating for you, and they're going to be telling them like, no, 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 she's going to move here. Trust me, you don't need to worry about that. Like she will be here so fast. She's dying to get up here. We will put all those fears at ease for that hiring manager. So again, if you want to learn how to become an incredible networker, you want to get free coaching calls with me, you want to have access to all my modules that teach all of this stuff and access to an amazing group, click the link below, learn a little bit more about Career Investors. It's only $40 a month, and it has changed so many people's careers. Starting off in the absolute middle of the country, boom, next thing you know, they're working here, they're thriving, they're making six figures before you know it. I'd say, I don't know the exact number. I'd say at least a third, if not more, of our members started in the middle of the country and would move to DC, or they moved to a different city because they wanted to move somewhere different. Obviously, a lot of folks in Career Investors are already here, which would be great for you. If you're not, you could have some built-in connections in DC right off the bat. And some folks join because they love where they live. They just want to have a career that has a bigger impact where they live, which is great. This video is not really relevant to you, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. So hopefully this helps some of you all who were debating moving up here on a hope and a prayer. We don't hope and pray. I mean, we do, but not about our careers. There's a much more proven approach, right? So let's save that bravery for when we're going to need it. But that's not it. This is not the area where you need to be brave. I'll make videos for some of the other parts of this whole process you need to be brave on, but this isn't it. So hopefully this helped. Definitely click that link below, learn a little bit more about our organization, and hopefully you and I will be on the phone tomorrow talking about your career because you joined Career Investors and you're giving it the 7-day free trial. All right. Thanks, everyone.